What is up, guys, and welcome to another edition of Market Marauders, beating the market one trade at a time. So a lot of crazy moves going on in the market today, just crazy moves all over the place. But let's jump into it. Coming to you live today on a pretty interesting day, Tuesday night. So first, I'm going to go over the earnings. Then I'm going to go over this other crazy news regarding Tesla and what's going on with Tesla. So let's jump into some of the earnings that I had on the community tab. This could be from the perspective of Webull. If you'd like to sign up for Webull, got a link down below in the description. Sign up, get 2 free stocks when you deposit $100 into a new account. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure you smash that description down below. All right, now we're going to jump into the earnings first and see what's going on with those, and then jump into the other information. All right, so jump into the earnings. Today, NEO had their earnings, and as expected, the earnings were really good. But as you know, it is reverse season, in my opinion. So all the earnings that seem to be really good perform very poorly. So looking at that, we can see that the earnings came out, and the moving average 10 is $13.42. Moving average 50 is $13.65, and the moving average 100 is $13.47. So they ended the day today at $12.99. After hours, they went up a little bit. They went up 22 cents to end at $13.21. So pretty good as far as rallying up is concerned. We're also going to jump into some background information on them and see what is really going on with the stock. So going to some background information on them. We're going to look on here, and I can see their earnings. So going and reading some of this, quarterly total revenues. Total revenues reached RMB 3,718.9 million, or US 526.4 million. So pretty good as far as revenue is concerned. Quarterly deliveries of the ES8 and the ES6 went to be, let's see, give me a second. Went to be 10,331. So pretty good metric as far as that's concerned. And then we have quarterly vehicle margin reached at 9.7%, and quarterly gross margin reached at 8.4%. So pretty good metrics as far as that's concerned. Deliveries, their numbers were really good. Earnings was really good. And the deliveries, if we can see on here, have definitely increased throughout all the quarters. In typical earnings fashion, when a company has good earnings, they go down. So they went down today after their earnings, which was unfortunate, but it seemed that they rallied up a little more towards the end of the earnings. So that's good to see that they rallied a little bit towards the end of the day, but to see that they, went down was pretty bad. So hope everybody was able to execute, those calls or those puts that you had on the stock. Hope everybody was able to lock in those profits, because I know there were profits to be made on both ends. So if you, went and tried to get in on the side where you were expecting good earnings and you were expected to go up, then you were able to lock in those profits. And then also, if you're expecting for it to go down after earnings, you're able to lock in those profits as well. So, good luck to everybody who was able to do so, and hope everybody was able to lock in those profits for NEO. So going into the next one, we have ticker sign SYY for Cisco Foods, not Cisco, the company that does routers and wireless networking. That's actually on tomorrow. So that's CISCO. This is SYY. So, don't get those two mixed up. They are very similar, but don't get those confused. So looking at that, we can see that their moving average 10 is $61.33. Moving average 50 is $58.79, and the moving average 100 is $56.02. So, pretty good metrics as far as that's concerned. Going into where they ended the day at $60.84, so not too bad. Drop a comment in the comment section. Tell me if you guys are able to lock in profits on this one. I know yesterday I looked at it and it was pretty bullish. It seems to be pretty bullish today as well. So drop a comment. Tell me if you guys were able to execute on those call options for today. So they ended, went down 6 cents after hours to $60.78. So not too bad of a metric as far as that's concerned. So, hopefully everybody was able to lock in those profits on that one. And let's jump into their earnings for today. So on their earnings, we can see that their sales decreased 42.7% to 8.9 billion. Gross profit decreased 47.4% to 1.6 billion. Gross margin decreased by 159 basis points. If we look at operating income, loss decreased 173.8% to 531.8 million. Adjusted operating income loss decreased 104.1% to 33.9 million. Earnings loss per share (EPS) decreased 2.25 to 1.22. Adjusted EPS decreased 1.39 to 0.29. So, they had a pretty, rough quarter. But if we look at the stock, they're still going up and still very bullish even after their bad earnings. So, they're still surviving. But it looks like, towards the end of the day, there was a little bit of sell-off. But it wasn't as drastic as NEO's. So NEO's sell-off was a lot more drastic compared to Cisco. But, Cisco to me is a more popular company or more longer standing company than NEO, so I expected Cisco to hold itself up a lot better than NEO did. So the topic everybody's talking about just came out today. Tesla has just announced a 5-for-1 stock split. So what does that mean? How do stock splits work? I'm going to read this article, and hopefully you all can get a little bit of understanding of what's going on and how you can use this to your advantage to grow your account. Tesla has announced 5-to-1 stock split after market close today, seeing the stock Tesla jumping as much as 8% in after-hours trading. In short, means that each Tesla shareholder will see their number of shares held increased by a factor of 5. But the value of the share will be adjusted accordingly. This aims to reduce the price per share and, as Tesla put it, make stock ownership more accessible to employees and investors. The stock split will happen Friday, August 28th. The stock will resume trading the following Monday. After the announcement, Tesla's stock price jumped 8%, which it did. Stock prices have been known to go up after a stock split is announced, even though it really doesn't affect the actual value of the company. If the stock price was to remain the same until the end of the month, it will be trading around $290 per share after the stock split. So basically, if you're not familiar with what a stock split is, it's where a company, splits its shares. For For every one share you'll have 5 shares, which will basically take the price that it's at and divide it by 5. So whatever the price is on this date, divided by 5. But how does the market react to that? Usually it rallies and goes up after a stock split is announced. One example I can give on that is pretty recent is the 4-to-1 stock split that Apple just recently announced. So ironically, their stock split is the exact same day on that basis, which is August 31st. So that's the exact same day that it's going to be split. So essentially you'll have, if you have Apple and you have Tesla, so let's say you have 1 share of Apple and you have 1 share of Tesla, like 1 whole share, on August 31st, you'll have 4 shares of Apple and you'll have 5 shares of Tesla. Now, that doesn't mean that the value of your share decreases. That just means that it will split. So a lot of people look at it as, I lost shares or I lost money. That's not how it works. You basically got the equivalent. What it does help, though, is people buy a lot more. So both of the stocks are going to rally. They usually always do. They rally before the split actually happens because people buy more. They don't buy more in the sense that buying more so that they could have more shares. They buy more because they're cheaper. Because after the stock splits, investors who are not able to get the stocks at the current price, which was like for Tesla at $14,640. So for those people who are not able to get a share of Tesla at $14,640, now they're going to be able to actually get those shares of Tesla. So if when the stock goes down after the split, more people are going to buy, but that's not going to devalue. It's actually going to help. It's going to be more advantageous for you to go and get the stock now than it will be then, because you got to think there have been a lot of investors who are just waiting around for a potential split so that they can go and buy more shares of the stock. So those 5 shares that you buy are essentially going to be worth more, which if you put them back in one would have made that price more, if that makes sense. So let's say you have a stock that does a 4-to-1 split. So let's do it in a small term. You have a stock that you bought for $1 and it does a 4-to-1 split. That means once it does that 4-to-1 split, each one of your shares is worth $0.25. That doesn't mean that you don't have $1 anymore. That means that your dollar has been split into 4 quarters. Now, when people come and they buy more shares of the company because it's cheaper, now the shares are $0.25, and let's say they go from $0.25 all the way up to they go up $0.25. So now each one of your shares is worth 50 cents. You've essentially doubled the amount of money that you had. So if you were to put that money back together from the 4 quarters that was split, then you would essentially have $2 instead of the $1 that you had beforehand. No, you had $4 instead of the $1 you had beforehand. So you go and you reverse that. It's not cheaper. You're not losing money. It's just the way you look at it. So, take that into consideration when you're going and, trying to buy stocks for the reverse split. Most likely it's going to be cheaper before it splits. And, that's just how they react. Now, how will the whole market itself react to this? There's still some big things that investors are waiting on for Tesla. One being Battery Day, which is on September 15th. So we're still waiting on Battery Day for them to announce the 1,000,000-mile battery. So, if you're a long-term bull or a long-term investor, people are waiting on that. Also, one thing that people are waiting on still is Tesla to have inclusion into the S&P 500. So, even though they're doing this 5-to-1 split, inclusion to the S&P 500 is the main goal for Tesla, and what we want to see as investors, because it's gonna definitely make the stock more attractive. Now, if it does the 5-to-1 split, in my personal opinion, I think it'll make it more attractive to be included into the S&P 500. Now, if that's a reason why they did that, I don't know, but I think it's a very good strategic play for the company to have done this, especially considering once stocks move into the S&P 500, you have a lot of money that is poured into the stock, which is going to make it easier for new investors who are investing into the stock to be able to access it. So, the company's not losing money by having the 5-to-1 split. They're actually gaining money by having the 5-to-1 split. That's why it was such a powerful move by Apple, and why, if we go and look at Apple and how they're trading, we can see Apple has basically been on a very bullish run up since they announced their 4-to-1 split. So on their 4-to-1 split, the stock rallied like crazy. If we look down here, we can see basically gone from around 411 all the way to 440, which is a pretty high metric in a pretty short amount of time for that to happen. And then if we see Tesla already had some crazy movement beforehand, where it has, let's go back, where it has reached $1,700 or $1,794. So that's a pretty big metric for them. But will it see this level again? Will the stock go back up to $1,794? I think it possibly could. Will it reach its target price of $3,000 per share? I think that is going to be prolonged. So I don't think immediately it will, but I think it will in the sense that if you add all the shares before the split together, I think the sum total will equal to that price that companies like ARK Invest talk about. So, a lot of big moves for them. Also, what does this mean for the market as a whole? The market as a whole has been, going pretty sideways. If you look at gold prices, a lot of old retail investors are saying, or old investors in general, are like, invest in gold, invest in silver. But if we see gold and silver have basically been on a very bullish trend. If we look at gold, there's a major sell-off from all-time highs. If we look at silver, major sell-off as well from all-time highs. If you look at SPY hasn't had a major sell-off, I wouldn't say, but it's definitely fallen off some, which to me denotes that, the economy may possibly be recovering to normal levels. If before it was a little bit inflated, all the tech stocks basically, announced crazy gains. Amazon announced crazy gains. You had Shopify have crazy gains. And then, Apple with its reverse, with its stock split, and Tesla, going up to 1,700 a share. Definitely really crazy levels as far as that's concerned. But I think, for the future of the economy as a whole, I think it's kind of recovering in my personal opinion, even though we see SPY has gone down. It went up a little bit after hours. But, there's a lot of things going on, a lot of moving parts. One thing I've also noticed is that a lot of the tech stocks are starting to rally, but other stocks that are starting to rally is the travel sector. So if we go to like a stock like American Airlines, if we go to a stock like Starbucks, if we go to a stock like McDonald's, add those to the watch list, then we can see on here that these stocks have basically been going up. So if we look at Starbucks, they're basically been on a bullish run up. If we look on here, They've been very bullish for like a while, which to me denotes the changing of guard or the diversification of portfolios. So basically, there was, the tech sector had its run up where everybody was buying tech stocks, Google, Amazon, Facebook, Twitter, anything, regarding tech or technology was essentially being bought. Now I think it's switching over to discretionary stuff, such like Starbucks, McDonald's, even Darden. We go to McDonald's. On here, we can see McDonald's had a crazy run up. Um, you know, their recovery's been pretty crazy, and this isn't like looking back at March. This is actually looking at the beginning of August, the end of July. So it's recovered pretty nicely on its bullish run up, which to me I call the changing of guards. So basically, people are selling off a lot of their tech stocks, which you can see by Neo being red, a lot of major tech stocks being red, and then the other stocks like these going to become green. So um, if you have a portfolio, it may be a time to load up on tech stocks while they're going down, or if you definitely believe in companies like McDonald's, you believe in Starbucks, and companies like that are going to bounce back, then I would definitely buy those. But the goal of investing is to buy low, sell high. Where if you're value investing, to me, to buy while stocks are down. So it seems to be all the people who bought the stocks like American Airlines. Let's look at them. Who bought the American Airlines companies when they were down. So let's say the beginning of August, they were at $10. And those people who were able to buy more of American Airlines are now able to cash out. And it seemed like they cashed out a little bit on here. But it definitely was, these are companies that do not track the actual stock market. So, despite their earnings being bad, people kind of assumed that their earnings were going to be bad. But it didn't matter because a company like American Airlines, people see is going to be around for a while. A company like McDonald's, we don't really see them going bankrupt anytime soon. A company like Starbucks, we don't see going bankrupt anytime soon. So people took advantage of that and bought them while they were on sale. And then, they're reaping the rewards of that by buying them low when they were down here around $75, or even down here where they were at, around $74.88. Now they're at 79, 90, 98, or 79.01 where it the day today. So they're basically reaping the rewards of that. So I would take that same approach and I would apply it to a company like Tesla. So going to Tesla, a lot of people took advantage of the stock when it was really low. So a lot of people bought it, back in March when it was like extremely low. So let's go to March. So down here, if you can believe it or not, in March 18th, Tesla was worth $398 a share. Now, the ironic part of that is that it's probably going to be around that same price, once they have this 5-to-1 split. So essentially, if you miss the whole pandemic wave of when the market crashed, you'll be able to buy back in now if you're a new investor. If you're new to investing and you want to jump in on Tesla, it'll be the exact same as if you missed this one. The only difference is if you took advantage of the market price when it was here, then let's say you bought one share when it was down here at 393, and then you waited till it got all the way here to the 1700 price, or not even 1700. If you waited till you got to 1300 or 1393, then you would essentially have an $1,000 profit, which you could do whatever with, and then you keep that one share that you had, and then or keep one share, take the profits, which will probably be a lot more than $1,000, and then keep that one share. And then when you have that one share, you'll have 5 stocks, and then you'll have the profits from that to buy any other stock you want. So, I think it's a win-win if you were able to buy back in March. I thought about buying in March, but I didn't. What I did buy was some options though, so I'm happy about that. Happy about my options. Definitely gonna look forward to those once the stock goes back up on some crazy levels. But that's how it works. That's how a 5-to-1 split works. It's gonna be interesting to see in the future how this behaves. But I think for me. Just being a retail investor, I think it was a very good strategic chess move for Tesla to go and to do this. Makes them very attractive to not only retail investors but the corporate investors, and I think that it's going to basically solidify their entry into the S&P 500. Now, what day will it be? I don't know. I'm not a fortune teller, but I think it will be probably around. I would say around September 4th-ish, September 5th-ish time period. I think it's probably going to be the week before or 2 weeks before Tesla's battery day. I definitely think it'll probably be the week before, though, Tesla's battery day, if they do get included, because, it's basically going to be their showcase. So, they've already had the reverse split. In August, it's going to be when the stock is going to be on sale. So let's think about it. Let's think about how this whole play could happen. So August 31st is when the stock is going to actually, be able to be traded at the price after the split. So it's going to be at its all-time low, right? A lot of people are going to buy in. But then, think about it. After that, the week after that, it gets inclusion, which is September 4th-ish time period. So it gets inclusion. It gets a huge pump from being included into the S&P 500 because it's a major move. Then after that, it has Battery Day, which, is going to basically revolutionize the way electric vehicles are being seen. Now, some people are saying, it's not going to be that big a deal. They basically predict what's going to happen. I don't think so. I call, kind of BS on that. But it's going to be revolutionary in my opinion, just for technology in general. I would compare it to, an Apple phone release sort of thing, just because the company itself is so big. So you have those 3 weeks, to me, are going to be like one of the biggest moves in the company and possibly in the stock market. So I will look forward to those 3 weeks, August 31st, because think about it, August 31st is also when Apple is going to have its 4-to-1 split. So you're going to have Apple at all-time lows. You're going to have Tesla at all-time lows. And then if Tesla gets put into the S&P 500, you'd essentially have two companies that have, some of the largest market caps being put at all-time lows, which, people are just going to flood the market with, money to put into these stocks. Contrary to what, some people may say or some investors may say, I definitely think people are going to put money into Tesla and put money into Apple. That I do believe will happen. So, let's say that perfect storm happens. I definitely could see the stock coming back up to these levels. Probably not the 1794 levels, but at least the $1,000 level after the 5-to-1 split. So just think, you got your shares now, and your shares are worth 200 or 300, and let's say you buy more, then the stock goes up to 1,000. You're just getting more and more gains from all this money being pumped into the stock. So I think it's a win-win if you look at it from that perspective. As a long-term investment, or even if you're trading it just for growth. If you're trading it just for growth, and let's say you buy now, and you're like, okay, I'm going to buy one share. I'm going to move my portfolio around and buy one share. And let's say your one share becomes 5 shares, and then you have the inclusion and then the battery day, and like let's say one of your shares is now equal to $1,000 per share. You'd have made profits off of just that by just buying one share and holding it until after inclusion and battery day. So, not telling you what to buy, just telling you the way that I'm interpreting what may possibly happen with the Tesla stock. Now, what may possibly happen with Apple stock is the same thing. I think Apple will have its split. More people will buy it because it's on sale. And the people who have it, will buy more because it's on sale. And then I believe, before 2021 or before January, the new year, I think Apple's going to announce their new iPhone, probably around October or November. I would say October, in my opinion, because you're going to want to announce it and release it before, the Thanksgiving, Christmas time season, to have it as a new release for next year. So let's say they release their phone with 5G. You got to think of the companies that are also going to be affected by that. You have companies like Qualcomm, whoever makes the glass. I don't know if it's Corning that makes the glass for the iPhone or what glass they make. Someone comment below and tell me, what glass they make for that. But you got to think Qualcomm that makes the 5G, actual antennas that go into there. So those companies are going to be directly affected by this, as well as, Apple itself. So, I think it's going to behave the same way. Definitely going to be two interesting stocks to look at for the future. I definitely, hopefully that Tesla gets put into the S&P 500 because I think it'll be a huge move. One company that I think could possibly be taken out is possibly Tiffany and Company, because no one's really buying jewelry or stuff like that. There was another company, another stock, but I can't think of it, at the top of my head. And there are basically a lot of moves being made in the market, but average retail investors, we can capitalize on these. There are a lot of moves being made, but you can still make money off of them if you just understand what's going on. If you understand how a stock split works, if you don't panic and say, I got to sell because my shares aren't that much. I think, what a lot of people do is they'll look in their account one day and they'll say, oh, I got all these shares, not know what a split is, and then look and say, oh, I got 5 shares, they're only worth $100, so I lost money. I'm going to email, Robinhood and tell them what's going on, or I'm going to email Webull and tell them, something's going on with my stock. Just educate yourself about the different things that are going on with stocks. Stocks are a very wonderful thing, in my opinion. You can make a lot of money off of them, or you can lose a lot of money off of them. But stocks, to me, are the only thing that you can see a direct reward for how much you learn. So let's say you go to school, you study to pass a test, there's no real direct reward from that. But let's say you apply that same energy to the stock market. Let's say you pulled an all-nighter to study about a stock. You did an all-nighter to learn how a stock behaves during earnings. Then you put your money on that stock, the stock goes up, you're able to capitalize on it, whether it's options or growth stocks or penny stocks. That is like a real-time value. You can get money off of that, and that money you can use to do the exact same thing that you've done before, or you can use that money to do something completely different. You could buy food, buy necessities, buy vehicles, gas, or whatever you need. Help people out. Donate to charity. That's why I like trading stocks so much, because you're directly rewarded for all the information that you know, and it's not hidden information. Like if you go on here and look at This Tesla 5-to-1 split, this is on electric, .co. And I just basically Googled it and it came up. So it's not hidden information. I think, one misconstrued that people have is that, stocks are something difficult to learn. I don't know how to do it. I'm going to leave that to you all because you all are smart. Y'all know how to do it. It's really not that difficult. There are different ways to invest as well. One other way you can invest is with dividend stocks. Dividend stocks is a great way to invest. If you want to learn about dividend stocks, or if you want to learn how to grow your account using dividends, I have a playlist on my channel. It's a small mini course basically explaining how to set up your first dividend portfolio. So if you want to check that out, it's in the playlist on my channel. So look that up. I don't believe selling a course is the action. Here, a lot of these people are like, hey, I'm going to sell you a course, or they don't start off with selling you a course. So, hey, I turned $5,000 into $10,000, and you can too. I'm sending you my weekly watch list for free, and then I'm going to sell you, you sign up, just put your email down, and then they spam you and send you email after email every single day to buy their course because you signed up because you wanted to get a free watch list for that day. That information I think should be, just given out for free. I don't think you should have to go and sign up for some course, pay some monthly fee to have somebody tell you what stocks to invest in. I think, if you can learn how to do it, especially from a place like this channel where it's free, you can apply those skills to any stock play that you would like to do. So that is the goal of this channel, is to just show you plays that are going on, explain the different plays that are going on, like the 5-to-1 split. This may not be the only video you see on the 5-to-1 split. You may see 10, 15, 20 other videos explaining what a 5-to-1 split is, and explaining, people's different position in Tesla, and, how they, are playing the different market. But, trying to get this information out for free, try to, enlighten people on the different ways that they can grow their account. Because it's simple, you just look at the different plays. You can mimic some of the plays, but ultimately, if you learn how to do it on your own, then you can benefit the most. So, going into some more stocks that are going to be coming out tomorrow with the earnings. We got CSCO for Cisco. Their moving average 10 is $47.75. Moving average 50 is $47.65. Moving average 100 is $47.40. And they ended the day at $47.19. So they are below all three of their metrics: moving average 10, 50, and moving average 100. So a little bit bearish towards the end of the day. There's a pretty big sell-off. But it looks like, after hours it rallied up 21 cents. So that's pretty good on that metric. If we see on here, it was kind of mixed emotions about the stock sale. There's some sales, there's some buys, there's some sales, there's some more buys. So, just take that in consideration, that it didn't completely rally before earnings, and it seemed to sell off a little bit before earnings. So, going into the next one that we have, we got Lyft. So for Lyft, we have that its moving average 10 is $31.09. Moving average 50 is $30.88. And the moving average 100 is $30.38. It's been acting, pretty strange. Went up a pretty bullish run, then dropped off quite a bit. Start to run back up a little bit towards the end of the week. So moving average 10, 31.09. Moving average 50, 30.88. Moving average 100 is 30.38. They ended the day at 30.65. So they're above their moving average 100. but below their moving average 50 and moving average 10. So tomorrow they're going to have their earnings. I suspect that Lyft was hit as hard as Uber was, especially considering Lyft does not have the delivery service aspect like Uber does to keep them afloat. So I suspect Lyft was hit a little bit harder earnings wise than um, Uber was. So just bear that in mind when you're looking at the stock, that it is a speculative play, and they are going down towards the end of the day. So it looked like a massive sell-off before earnings tomorrow. So just bear that in mind. Going into the next one, we got SDC for Small Direct. They have their earnings tomorrow. If you don't know what Small Direct is, it's a dentistry club, or it's called Small Direct Club, which is a bunch of dentist facilities, basis in Nashville, Tennessee. So yeah, my hometown. So had to put them on the list. So going into Small Direct, their moving average 10 is $8.92. Moving average 50 is $9. And moving average 100 is $8.87. If we look at the end of the day at $8.95, but it looks like they rallied up towards the end of the day to be at $9. So if we look at the after hours report, they actually ended at their moving average 50 and above their moving average 100, and above their moving average 10. So, hopefully this will go up and continue to go up a little bit more. And beat this actual $9 resistance, because it seems to be the moving average 50 is this $9 resistance. So if it goes past that $9 resistance when the market opens on Monday, on tomorrow, on Wednesday, I would suspect that it's going to have a bullish breakout. But definitely a good one to keep your eyes out on. I don't know how they're going to perform earnings wise. I don't know how big dentistry is. But I do know it's something that's in high demand, and a high dollar ticket item. So, dentistry to me will always be something that people need. Always need a dentist, because everyone has teeth. So, hopefully they did good. And, definitely going to report all three of those earnings tomorrow once the market closes. I'll have my live stream again tomorrow, so come check that out. Explain those earnings and also explaining some more about this Tesla move. Definitely an interesting move for Tesla. Think it's going to make them basically be solidified as, in the S&P 500 with that move. They definitely, going back to the stock itself, definitely going to see, the impact of this as time goes on. Now, they didn't make as a dramatic move as I thought they would towards the end of the day. They only went plus $89.61. But if you know Tesla investors, then that small move would always be exaggerated the next day. Don't suspect it continuing to go down. I suspect it to continue to go up from this move. So, just bear that in mind. Don't expect this to continue to go down. I don't see why it would, especially considering the fact that it's going to be cheaper, in the long run. Now, some people may say, what's the point of this? You can buy partial shares, so it's not really that big of a deal. I think it's still that big of a deal because there's money out there to be had on this. And I don't think people are going and buying partial shares. I think people are buying full shares of this company. And if they're going to be cheaper, then I think people are going to wait and buy cheaper shares of it. Or they're going to go and they're going to buy shares now and hope that they appreciate as the shares become cheaper for everyone else. So, I'm definitely going to keep my eye on this. I'm going to give an update on it tomorrow as it comes out. Also going to give an update on Apple as it comes out. Might as well, since both of their split days are the same day. Seems like Apple's kind of losing a little bit of steam here. But, definitely going to have those on my watch list and continue to watch those. Also going to continue to watch SPY, continue to watch silver and gold, seeing how they've had massive sell-offs, and continue to watch UUP. UUP has actually been a little bit bullish, so it's kind of been running sideways, but it seems to be a little bit bullish at the current moment. So we're going to see how that behaves as time goes on. Also going to see how SPY behaves. SPY had a massive sell-off towards the end of the day, but rallied up just a little bit, 57 cents towards the end of the day. Definitely going to look forward to see how SPY behaves if Tesla gets put into the S&P 500, which we're all hoping for. I know everybody's hoping for. Don't think that that's priced in, but we will see. We will see how that behaves as time goes on. Definitely an interesting move in the market, and that's why I enjoy covering stocks so much, because there's never a dull moment as far as stocks is concerned. There's always interesting things going on, lots of plays being made. So I hope you all were able to get something out of this. Hope it helped you. Hope my synopsis of Tesla helped you all. Hope the earnings reports are helping you all. I do have a survey or a poll on my channel, so go and check that out on the community tab, just to see if these are actually being helpful. Just check a yes or no on there, because I hope they're helping everybody out, because it's real-time stuff that's going on. So, try to give real-time updates on what's going on in the market, because, you may be flooded or inundated with a lot of different information, but try to give you, the news when it happens. So, hope everybody is able to lock in some trades tomorrow, and hope everybody is able to continue to grow your account. If you have any questions, drop them down below. Also have an email. If you go to my About page, you can email me. I'll try to answer questions on there as well. If you have any questions about dividends or how to start dividends, how to grow a dividend account, I have that link in a playlist on my channel as well. And I'll try to make one about trading stocks in general. So like penny stocks, options. I'll try to make a little small mini course about that that I'll put as a playlist as well, just so everybody can see. If you want to, give a donation, I have that as well in my description down below. If this information helped you, do have a Cash App on there, but information is free. So if it helps you, it helps you, and you want to donate, I appreciate it. If not, hopefully it helps you. I'll see you guys next time. Try to give some coverage tomorrow about the plays that are going on. So I'll see you guys next time. Peace.